What up, everybody? It's Joey Jojo here, bringing you a Let's Play of the visual novel The Fruit of Grisaia. I think that's how you pronounce it, but this visual novel I have not read before. So this one will be pretty interesting. So let's just begin. Intense sunlight blazes down on the road as if to declare the arrival of summer. The burning asphalt radiates heat, mixing with the scent of the tide to form a thick, muggy atmosphere. It's way too early for this kind of weather, and when the temperature's abnormally high, you're always going to get some people who lose their head and start acting erratically. In other words, it's only natural that police would be on the lookout for suspicious types at times like these. It was about 10 minutes ago that I realized I've been mistaken for one of those heat stroke addle sorts.
名前が風見雄二。住所は山梨県大里郡。
Sweat pouring from his forehead as he examines my license. The policeman in front of me takes a glance at the large backpack I'm carrying, then continues the background check.
山梨から来たのか、あんた。
Yes.
この町には何の用事で？大荷物背負ってどこかへ行く途中かい？
I told you this 10 minutes ago. I'm moving. This luggage is everything I own.
それじゃあ、引っ越し先の住所は？
Like I said, I don't have one yet. The answer's not going to change no matter how many times you ask.
引っ越し先の住所も決まっていないのに引っ越してきたっていうのかい？君、何を隠しているの？そろそろ本当のことを教えてよ。
Where did I come from? Where are you going? What are you planning to do there? Depending on the context, these could be fairly philosophical questions, but as far as police inquiries go, they're pretty run-of-the-mill. From their perspective, anyone wandering around without clean-cut business is by default a criminal of some sort, let alone someone like me carrying around conspicuous bulky luggage. It's as good as guaranteed that they'd stop me. That is your job, I suppose, since this little scene acts as a crime deterrent through its visibility. It's not an entirely wasted effort. But unfortunately, I don't have all day to play along. I drop a glance toward the digital watch I'm wearing around my left wrist. Sorry, but I'm keeping someone waiting. I really can't spare any more time for hanging out with bored cops.
バカにしてるのか?
A bored police force is proof that the city's at peace. Take it as a compliment. Inexplicably taking offense at my tone, the policeman clicks his tongue in irritation and tosses my license back.
風見さん、悪いけど、お背中の荷物の中身確認させてもらっていいかな?
I refuse.
どうして？何か見られたくないものでも入ってるの？刃物とか持ってない？
I don't rely on blades. Policy of mine. Look, are you really telling me to unpack all this on the spot? I'll take an hour at least. 30 minutes just to take it all out. 30 minutes to stuff it back in. Give me a second. Let me... Oh my god. Okay, there we go. The text. Because the audio of the text keeps going after I skip the dialogue. Or turn the saving change color of red text on. Allow skipping on red text allowed. Skip. Hold up. Give me... My goodness.
ダイアログの表示設定をするわよ。音量の設定をするわよ。
Voices on, Sims voice on, voice skip on, movie skip. Oh, let's keep... Oh, movie skip off. Okay. Okay, I do not know where that setting is. I probably turn off skip after option. You know what? I'll find that later. But let's just keep going.
じゃあ立ち話もなんだし、警察署に行こうか。冷たいお茶ぐらい出すからさ、そこでゆっくりお話を聞かせてよ。
I just told you, I don't have the time. I can't accept voluntary questioning. I know you can't just back down in this situation, but if I say I'll head over there myself later, could we wrap this up for now?
そんな都合のいいこと言って、そのまましらばっくれる気だろ。だったらせめて自宅の連絡先を教えてよ。
As I've explained, I'm in the middle of a move. I vacated my old place, so I don't have an
じゃあ
address.
ご両親の住んでいる実家の住所だ。まさか両親もホームレスだとは言うまい？
I don't have any parents, no siblings or relatives either. They're all dead. Eee! Dang, they're all dead.
本当に？やっぱり何か隠してるんじゃないの？
This is going
警
nowhere.
察署まで来てくれれば無駄な問答をしなくて済むんだけどね。今パトカー呼ぶから少し待っててくれる？
You just stay where you are, please. He's desperate. Then at least let me call the person I'm supposed to be meeting. At this rate, they'll be waiting all day.
そりゃ構わないけど。相手は誰？お友達？
I'm not going to tell you that.
言えないような相手なのか？
It's your mother. Oh God. It's your mother. We had an appointment at a hotel tonight.
は？
I was keeping quiet out of the goodness of my heart. You dragged it out of me. So don't blame me when your parents get divorced and your happy home is shattered. By the way, this is the all ages version off of Steam. So there's not going to be any certain scenes in it. So yeah.
バカにしてるのか？
Oh dang! What happened? Oh goodness. Oh goodness. About 30 meters away from where we're talking, someone screams. A desperate cry follows within seconds. Oh damn, someone's getting robbed. A woman sits collapsed on the street, stretching out her hand. Her high heels lie on the ground, knocked off her feet by the sudden fall. Just about halfway between us, there's a man in a flashy Hawaiian shirt running in this direction.
警察か。
Although the thief flinches for a moment at the sight of the policeman's uniform, after a quick check for any convenient side streets, he barrels onward.
どけくら！
Brandishing the stolen bag menacingly, his hand violently gestures out of the way.
止まれ！止まりなさい！
The cop is completely flustered. He's quite clearly unaccustomed to this sort of situation, but yet again, he was over there trying to like get on the main character where he's going, but he can't really stop crime. That's crazy. While he's panicking, the distance between us and the thief shrinks with surprising swiftness. Shrinks with surprising swiftness. Okay. The man runs in a straight line toward a breakthrough to freedom. I happen to be standing directly in the middle of his path. As he prepares to strike with the bag, I ascertain the movement of his shoulders and arm from the first signs of motion and hit his wrist sharply just as he's beginning to swing. The man's arm instantly stiffens and loses all momentum. His eyes pop wide open in shock. I immediately grab the collar of the Hawaiian shirt he's wearing and firmly draw him towards me. Before the man can offer resistance to my pull, I smoothly reverse and use my body's weight to shove against him. When pushed just as they begin to brace themselves against being pulled, anyone except a genuine expert is going to be thrown off balance. Nice shirt? Where did you buy it? Shock spreads across the man's face as his knees buckle against his will. I try to gain a chokehold using my grip on the neck of his shirt, but the man promptly draws his head back and shifts his body to the side, preventing me from landing a hold on his neck. Although I expected as much from a glance at his build, it seems like he's somewhat experienced in judo. But in this case, you would have been better off trying a decisive tackle. Rotating around the purse snatcher in the opposite direction of his slide. I yank his right arm up with both hands. In one moment, I've circled to his back. Next, pull back on the opponent's wrists and elbows and pinned him to the ground. This is just basic Aikido, by the way. Hey now, you've got your priorities all wrong. Before worrying about me, you should kill the guy who sold you that shirt. Dang! It does look kind of basic, I'll be honest with you. Perhaps unconsciously, the man's now empty right hand desperately slaps at the asphalt. While holding the thief pinned, I quickly shot a look behind. Don't just stand there. The policeman jerks up straight in response to my angry shout. Taking a pair of handcuffs from the pouch around his waist, he runs over to restrain the criminal. The purse snatcher seemed to have resigned himself to his fate and doesn't offer any pointless resistance. He accepts his red-handed arrest for thief docilely, then sits quietly on the ground with his head hung as the policeman radios for backup. Apparently, they weren't too far off as the siren approaches in no time. Two policemen get out of the arriving cruiser and push the criminal into the back seat. As I'm quietly watching the scene in perfect passivity, the policeman from earlier runs over. I'll pass on the letter of thanks, so how about letting me move on? Dang, you really don't let him go. Figured as much. Shaking my head in exasperation, I silently rebuke myself. Should have just left it alone. As the policeman pushes at my back, a glance at my wristwatch informs me that I'm already 5 minutes late for my meeting. Dang. Pretty interesting beginning. What is this? Oh. I didn't read the year. 30 minutes had passed since I was brought to the interrogation room, familiar as the place where criminals break into flop sweat in TV dramas. I'm sitting on a cheap foldable pipe chair, my arms folded in perfect silence. Instead of responding, I close my eyes, a silent statement indicating that I have absolutely no intention of opening my mouth. The detective clicks his tongue in exasperation at my attitude. I've got a pretty fair idea of what he'll be doing next. That surprised me. Okay. The sound of something being struck and an even louder attempt at intimidation. This is the point where a timid guy would be jumping in his seat with his eyes wide or maybe staring at the floor and quivering. Sounds like me. As for me, my eyes are still shut and my arms are still folded quietly. My mind is a total blank. I've been accustomed to adults shouting at me like this since I was a child. Aw. Following the threat stage, the next step would be for him to grip my hair and jolt me back and forth. But I'm dealing with an official authority group here. I should get off without direct violence this time. Not to say that they won't pull out the old TV cliches and harass me by shining a desk lamp in my eyes or something of the sort. I can roughly translate the detective's sigh. Goddamn kids these days. I gently open my eyes in order to sneak a look at his disgusted face. The detective sitting in front of me seems to be challenging the Guinness World Record for the most dramatic asymmetry between the left and right side of the human mouth. Or maybe he's just scowling. Dang. When I let out a sort of laughter in response to the unexpectedly pleasant sight, the detective scratches his head violently and glares at me. It won't gain you anything, but you won't lose anything either, except your time. I turn my gaze to the clock on the wall of the sweat box. An hour has already passed since the scheduled time for my meeting.
なんとか言ったらどうなんだ。
The detective strikes the desk with excellent comedic timing. Comic timing, or whatever. The best part is the way he knocks his ashtray off the table every time he does this.
なんなんだよお前は。
His tone distinctively fed up. He stoops down to pick the plastic tray off the floor. Kazami Yuji, occupation, student.
だからそりゃもう何度も聞いたっつんだよ。調べたよ。山梨から来たんだろ。過去の犯罪歴はなし、歩道歴も交通違反もなし、何かを表彰されるようなこともなし。ここまで綺麗な懲罰なしってのは変だろ。
If he has none of that in the system, what is he still doing there, in my opinion?
まるで誰かが細工したみてえに真っ白なんだよお前は。お前は一体何者なんだ。
He just told you. Kazami Yuji, occupation, student.
なんだそりゃ。警察に捕まったらそれしか言うなって誰かに言われてんのか。お前どっかのテロリストか。
Kazami Yuji, occupation, student.
もういい、黙れ。
First, it's say something. Now it's shut up. Talk about hard to please. Our capricious detective scowls yet again and scratches his head. Flakes of dandruff drift grandly through the air. Based on his thoroughly wrinkled suit and heavy stubble, I'd say he hasn't been home in days.
なあ頼むよ。こっちの事情も考えてくれよ。
Another sigh. It's enough to make me want to heave one myself. Because we both take our work seriously, it seems like we're stuck going around in
さ
circles.
っきのひったくり事件の取り調べも進まないし、厄介なの捕まえたよまったく。
Just as we roughly complete this exchange of one-sided bitterness and mutual glaring, there's a well-timed knock at the door and the sound of it being
は
unlocked.
い。あ、お疲れ様です。
A slightly plump elderly detective enters the room. Given the respectful tone of the detective I've been chatting with, he's probably superior of some
どうか
sort.
しましたか。はい。ええ。
After a quick glance in my direction, the elderly detective whispered something into the young man's ear. Before long, the younger detective turns towards me with a decidedly nonplussed expression.
釈放だとお疲れさん。
Damn. Why now, all of a sudden?
それはこっちから聞いてくれ。それじゃあな。
Dang, what happened there? With those parting words, the young detective leaves the room. The elderly detective watches him go and then faces me with a greasy smile.
いやー、すみませんでしたね、風見さん。こちらに連絡が行っていなかったようで、先ほどようやっとあなたの身元保証人の方と連絡が取れた次第でして。
The detective stares at me with eyes like a dead
市
fish.
ヶ谷の関係者なら最初からそう言っていただかないと。
If you'd known I was from Ichigaya from the start, wouldn't you have thrown me in jail, stripped me naked, and sprayed me down with a hose?
まさかご冗談を。うちは天下の桜だもんですよ。
Just to let you know, I'm nothing but a student. My work at Ichigaya is only a part-time cleaning job.
掃除ですか。なるほどね。うまいことおっしゃいますな。さすがはインテリさんの集まりだ。
In response to my words, the detective twists his mouth into something vaguely resembling a
い
smile.
やー、ですからね。そちらさんもそんなご事情ならば、もっと早く言っておいていただければよかったんですが、ご存知かと思いますが、上があれですから、いろいろとややこしくてね。
Sarcasm drifting from every pore of his body, the detective treats me with transparently insincere courtesy. He's perfectly civil on a superficial level, but the atmosphere in here is growing increasingly unpleasant. The younger detective from before hard ass that he was, seems infinitely preferable. Did you inquire to Ichigaya about me? Oh, okay, gotcha. Did you inquire to Ichigaya about me? Okay.
あなたのお名前をデータベースで検索させたんですがね、検索している最中に電話が鳴りまして、受話器を上げてみたら防衛省の特別の機関からのお電話でして、うちの犬がそちらで保護されていないかと聞きましてね。いや、驚きましたよ実際。うちは保健所じゃありませんからね。
Since you found my owner and confirmed that my leash is properly attached, I should be able to leave now, right?
どうぞご自由に。ああ、そうそう。あなたが今度転入なさる学園の学園長からもこちらに連絡がありましたよ。
That's so.
なかなかいらっしゃらないからと近隣の署に片っ端から連絡を入れたそうですよ。
Oh wow.
おかげでうちの所長も会議の途中で電話に引っ張られたようでして、散々闇を言われたと言っておりました。
There must be some powerful people if the police are like very active with your calls and stuff. Where's my backpack?
お預かりした荷物は玄関に出してありますので、そちらで。なんでしたらうちの車でお送りしましょうか。
You're not getting funds from public taxes in order to chauffeur bums like me around, are you? I'll walk. Dang. He's kind of straightforward. After I'm urged out the door by the old man, the younger detective appears from the rear, carrying the backpack they've taken from me earlier. Bit of a tough question. I guess you could say my life. That wasn't really what I was going for. Dropping the backpack next to me, the detective lets out a slight sigh. Thanks for lugging it out here. Pretty heavy, isn't it? True. Guess that's natural for policemen. Sorry. The detective smiles wearily. I'm wearing the school uniform. You can see at a glance. He clasped my shoulder as we passed each other. With those parting words, he heads back into the police station. Guess I don't make a convincing student yet. I'm wearing black slacks and a short-sleeved dress shirt, as well as a blue tartan check necktie. Excluding my somewhat longish hair, I should be the very image of a student. I guess it's a little difficult turning into something like that all of a sudden. But it's probably precisely because this is difficult that I've decided to give it a try. For a while, I myself didn't understand why I'd asked for this, but now I think I have a faint grasp of the reason. I wanted to become something I couldn't understand, something that I wasn't. At the moment, I've done nothing but smooth down my edges a bit. Perhaps later on, I'll become a student on the inside as well. The sun that has been climbing upward earlier has now finally reached its zenith. The temperature keeps on rising and sweat oozes from my skin. I was pretty sure she picked me up, but Sensing a present, I lower my gaze from the sun. My eyes, well accustomed to high contrast lighting, project a human form in silhouette for only the briefest of moments before the details fade in. A woman raising an awkward salute, grinning broadly, stands before my eyes. Spare me, I don't want to see a pose like that outside the workplace. In the first place, what's with that dopey salute? The girls in bikinis on the Maritime SDF recruitment posters have more impressive forms. I don't recall contributing enough to society today to deserve any appreciation. She opens the door to the car stop next to her.
乗って。目的を遂行する方が最優先。でしょ?
Yeah, true enough. From Mishima Cape Police Station to National Highway number 133 southbound, we proceed to the Prefectural Highway and advance further out toward the Cape. A range of slowly rotating wind turbines come into view, indicating our proximity to the sea.
びっくりしたのよ。時間になっても現れないし、これは何かあったんだって連絡したら、案の定警察の厄介になってるし。
So is she the principal?
この暑さだから熱射病で倒れてるのかと思っちゃった。
I doubt you really thought I was sick.
どうしてそんなことが言えるの?
You were trying the police stations first, not the hospital. That is true.
そりゃあなたのことだからぶっ倒れる前に何とかするとは思ったけど、一応体のこと気遣ってるんだから素直に聞けばいいのに。
That is also true. Accuracy in weather forecasts and interpersonal communications make society run smoother.
可愛くない。
Pouting again, she continues her... what? Haringu? I don't know.
ここにだって本数は少ないけど電車は通ってるんだから、それで来ればよかったのに歩いてきちゃうんだもん。それも聞いてびっくりしたのよ。ヒマラヤにでも登るような大荷物背負ってるって。
Sorry, I hate trains.
だからって歩いてくるなんて常識外れよ。どうしたの？黙っちゃって。
Could you not mention this to the other students? I don't want them getting funny ideas about me from the
変
get-go.
なのが来たって警戒されるかもね。確かに。
I got enough of that from the police to last me a while.
やっぱり職質受けてたのね。
He sure did.
はい、着いたわ。ここよ。
The car proceeds about 500 meters along an area of reclaimed coastal land before she brought it to a stop. So that's what he meant by landfilled. I see. As I'm recalling the words of the detective from before, the woman continues our conversation with a suddenly cheerful tone.
どう？立派でしょ。この近隣の学校の中では一番新しいのよ。
Very nice. Barely even looks like a school. Although I've heard it was a new school, its external appearance generally isn't what I'd expect. A 3-story building, the pure white color of the outer walls is the only typical school-like element, with every other aspect more closely resembling a city office building. The gates to the right and left are less evocative of a school gate than a functional fence at some facility. The mountain signboard, likewise, is an old utilitarian thing printed in a simple typeface rather than a hand-drawn work of calligraphy.
これからここがあなたの母校になるのよ。感慨深くない？
I've only just arrived at this place. If I said I'm deeply moved by the sight, it'll be a lie.
味もそっけもない。人間想像力が大事なのよ。
With an exaggerated sigh, she opens her hands wide in the overblown gesture of a third-rated actor.
新設校だからあまり学校のイメージがないかもしれないけど、学生だってちゃんと普通のいい子たちがいるのよ。だから。
Who is she? I love like when foreigners try to speak English. Oh my god. Her rigmarole, what? I don't even know what that word is. Her whatever that word is abruptly erupted by the high-pitched shrieks of two girls.
やめなさいマキナ。やめなさいってお願いだからお願いだからあまねなんで逃げるの？セミかわいいよ。
Oh, I'll run away too if they brought me a bug.
虫は大嫌いなのよ
Girl A, I feel you.
助けて
Alright then. She doing a bit too much there.
むせ返るほど笑ってんじゃないわよマキナあんた後で覚えてなさいよおやつ抜きにするんだからその普通の
Normal? Could you define that term? Is there a class where we chase each other around brandishing insects?
違うのよあの子たちはそのねわかるでしょ
I don't think I do, but it's nice to see that it's a lively school.
でしょとりあえず行きましょうか中に
Having apparently forgotten what she was planning to do with her outspread hands, she totters through the school gate. Her office is positioned quite near the school building's front entrance. The furniture is nicely arranged, based around an old-fashioned desk and chair. In contrast to the incongruity of the building's external appearance, this room is a textbook example of the old-fashioned principal's office.
そこ座って
I sit on the genuine leather sofa that's one of the room's more prominent furnishings. After waiting for me to settle myself, she lowers herself into the seat across from me.
学園長の立花千鶴ですようこそ美浜学園へはじめましてそれともお久しぶりねの方がいいかしら風見くん
What? He's been here before? On a practical level, yes. Nice to meet you. Might be the better option.
そっかそうね確かに
With a slight amused smile, Principal Tachibana takes out a pamphlet.
まああなたのことだからもう概要は知ってるとは思うけど一応説明はしておくわ
She flips past a couple pages of the brochure. I hadn't noticed, but her fingernails are lightly polished.
ここは学校法人榊学園の運営する私学の学園で全国から選ばれた学生たちを集めて日々勉学に励んでいるの榊学園の母体は関東一円に私鉄網を持つ東浜急行電鉄グループその資金力を持って最高の設備と教職員を揃えているわまず
The principal's talk shifts to more detailed matters. The East Beach Express is an enormous corporate group with its hand in real estate and large-scale retail, but its core business is the management of the rail line connecting Tokyo and Haneda Airport. The EBE's management is shouldered by the Sakaki family, and it seems plausible that this Sakaki Academy Corporation is also administered by them directly, but that's only a guess based on circumstantial evidence. There's a lack of public information on this secretive corporation's activities. The very existence of this academy isn't well known. I didn't gain anything that could be called definitive proof from my investigations so far.
あなたは2年生として学園に入ってもらいます早速明日のホームルームで転校のことをお知らせするからそれ以降は自由に振る舞って構わないわ
Her fingers come to a stop, bringing her hands gently together, the principal raising her gaze from the pamphlet and meets my eyes.
どうあなたのお望み通り普通の学園生活を送るには最適の環境だと思うけど
I have a few questions.
どうぞ
First, today is a weekday, but there was barely anyone on the school grounds. What's going on?
少数精鋭なのよ学生数はあなたを入れて6人だけなの
A school with only 6 students? Okay. Only 6?
そう
That's
よ
what I'm saying. The elite few?
ええ
That includes our friendships with the cicada just now.
もちろん
Question 2. Where am I living from today on?
全寮制なの。後で学生寮の場所を案内します。そこからここに通ってちょうだい。
A dormitory, is it?
寮といっても十分な広さのある個室だから安心よ。
In that case, not a problem.
以上かしら。
Before we finish, one last thing.
はい、どうぞ。
For this last question only, I stare directly into her eyes. I need to confirm the principal's intentions in bringing me here. After all said and done, is this a normal school? The principal's closed her mouth. After a moment of silence, she opens it again.
ええ
A gentle smile. I'm convinced that she isn't lying to me to further some hidden self-interest.
あなたがあの時に言った希望、ちゃんと覚えているわよ。
The principal slowly stands up and walks to the window side. The athletic grounds are visible from the window. Although resembling those of a normal school, the grounds are skirted by an improbable high
普
wall.
通の学園に入って普通の学生生活が送りたい。
The mere handful of students, the bizarrely extravagant facilities, the on-campus dormitory, the high wall surrounding it all, they clearly indicate abnormality.
でもね、あなたも分かってると思うけど、あなた自身の境遇を考えると、ここしか条件に合うところがなかったのよ。
I guess you're right.
私はあくまでもここは普通の学園だとあなたに言います。
The principal turns to
だ
face
から
me.
あなたもここで普通に過ごしてくれればいいわ。何かしてほしいとか私から言うことはありません。
Understood.
それじゃ寮の方へ案内するわ。
Yeah. With a nod, I rise to my feet. On the grounds outside, a gust of salty sea air kicks up a cloud of sand.
ここが学生寮よ。管理室も含めると部屋数は全部で11。各部屋ごとにお風呂とトイレとキッチンが備え付けられてるから生活の心配はないわ。家具も一通り揃ってるしね。何キョロキョロしてるの？
The cicada pair from earlier don't seem to be around.
スオさんとイリスさんのことね。二人ともまだ学園に残っているのかもね。小峰さんもいないようだし。
That Komine guy, a student here too?
その子に寮の案内を頼んでいたんだけど、
Did he
姿が
say-
見えないから。
What did he say? Oh. So you don't have a minute. So you don't have a minute grasp on the movements of the students, I see.
私はほら、単なる学園長だから。
Merely it is.
ちょっと待ってね。部屋にいるのかもしれないから。
The principal walks towards the interior of the building. Left there by myself, I stare vacantly up at the ceilings. Soon, I've unconsciously fallen into my habit of counting the number of visible sprinklers, then roughly estimating the scale of the building. Calculating the time needed to gain control of the front entrance and ascertaining the location of the emergency exits. Not that many support pillars are there. Guess that's why the ceiling is a bit low.
あの
Having grown absorbed in analyzing the building, I don't even notice the tug on my sleeve.
私の声聞こえてますか？
Until the final excuse me of many finally catches my ear.
あなたは今日到着予定の転入生さんですか？
I draw my gaze in the direction of the voice and find a girl in house-made clothes looking up at me. Not that she's a particularly diminutive height, except in comparison to a taller male like me.
それとも不審者さんでしょうか？
No one's going to admit that they're an intruder if you ask them if you ask them point blank.
そういえばそうですね。目から鱗です。
The maid nods several times, slowly catches her eyes, and begins to repeat my words.
不審者かと尋ねられて不審者だと答えるやつはいない。不審者かと尋ねられて不審者だと答えるやつはいない。大丈夫。それでは質問の仕方を変えて、あなたは不審者さんではない人でしょうか？
Flexible thinking isn't your strong suit, clearly.
はい。
No, never mind. So what does a maid want with me?
ですから私はあなたが怪しい人かどうかを確認しています。
This would be the second time today I've heard that pickup
そ
line.
れはおめでとうございます。それであなたは不審者さんではない人なんでしょうか？
You're a lot tougher than you look, maid.
小峰さん、ちょうどよかった。こちらが今度転入することになった風見くんよ。
At this point, having noticed our voices, the principal calls out to the girl. It seems this maid was Komine all along.
やっぱりあなたが転入生さんだったんですね。
I'm Kazami Yuji. Good to meet you.
はい、こちらこそよろしくお願いします。
I don't think you introduced yourself.
すみません。下の名前はサチです。よろしくお願いします。
And this time is nothing but the first name. I had it thought earlier with the other two, but you've certainly gathered some unique elites here.
学生の個性を伸ばすのが学園の役目だから。
Which would mean that she's a student too.
小峰さんはこの学園の1年生よ。あなたには小峰さんが教壇に立つような年に見えた？
That's not really my point of confusion here. Our uniform creates certain preconceptions. For example, if I see a girl wearing bunny ears in a bar, I don't ask what she's done with her Bible. What?
小峰さんは普段からメイド服でいることが多いから。
That's not an explanation.
確かにそうね。それじゃあ小峰さん、説明してあげて。わかりました。私はクラス委員を任されている関係で、よく先生方のお手伝いや雑用をお願いされることが多いのですが、なんだかメイドさんみたいだねという話から、ちょっとメイド服着てみなよと促され、実際着てみたらやっぱり似合うから、なるべく普段から着た方がいいよと提案されたので、なるべく普段からメイド服を着るように心がけています。
I see. So you're a devoted one. The fallen bunny girl's sister could learn a thing or two from you.
はい、ありがとうございます。
I wasn't really intending that to be a compliment, but there's no point in telling her that.
じゃあここからは彼女に案内してもらって。その方が話もできていいでしょう。
No objections.
それじゃあ小峰さん、あとはお願いね。わかりました。それではまず1階から案内していきますね。
Yeah, if you would. The maid slowly begins to walk, but quietly comes to a stop in front of the management room. Stopped dead, she's staring at me with an expression that clearly indicates she has something to say. What's wrong? You need something?
あなたのことを何とお呼びしたらいいのか聞き忘れていました。
Oh, come to think of it, you're right.
すみません。
Well, you can call me whatever you want.
それでしたらゆうくんと呼ばせていただいてもよろしいでしょうか。
We've gotten pretty familiar all of a sudden.
では風見さんというのはいかがでしょう。
Sure. Anyway, I'll call you Sachi.
サチ。
My bad. Would Sachimon be better?
いえ、サチで構いませんよ。
What? Her expression didn't change in the slightest, but her eyes at the moment she spoke those words had a strange forcefulness. That's so. Alright, Sachi. Best regards and all that.
はい。
Judging from her smile, it seems she doesn't dislike being called Sashi.
それでは早速なのですが、寮に入って最初に見えるこの部屋が風見さんのお部屋になります。
Nameplate seems to say it's the management room though.
学園長さんのお話では、風見さんには寮長を兼ねてこの部屋に住んでほしいとのことでしたけど。
Damn, so he's an RA already. Wow. In other words, she wants me to play the prison guard. Well, at the very least, 3 out of the 6 students living in this dorm are females. It would probably be prudent to have a room as far as possible from theirs to avoid potential trouble. Mind if I take a look inside?
はい。これが部屋の鍵です。どうぞ。
When I open the door with a key she hands me, a prominently placed set of kitchen and household goods catches my eyes. They seem to be in good shape, and I can confirm with a glance that the room itself will be more than adequate living environment given my
こ
needs.
の寮のすべての部屋には火災報知器が1つと2つのスプリンクラーが設置されています。
I know the main character will be very interested in that. Got it. She seems to have guessed my thoughts from the direction of my gaze. Oh wow.
そこは1畳半ほどのウォークインクローゼットになっていると聞いています。
As a little test, I focus my eyes on a different point of interest, and she provides an explanation in the same way. Although she's a little off in some departments, she seems to be pretty sharp in other respects. I see. Looks like there won't be any problems. As I speak, I twist the faucet over the sink. Was someone using this room before I came?
いいえ、少なくとも4ヶ月は誰も使っていなかったはずですが。
The water's pretty clear, considering.
まあ、建物自体新しいですし、風見さんがいらっしゃる前はこの部屋を倉庫代わりに使用することもあったので、その時に誰かが水道を使っていたのかもしれません。私も時々お掃除の時にバケツの水を汲むために使っていましたから。
I see. I twist the faucet to stop the water, drop the luggage I've been carrying on the spot, and promptly leave the room.
それから玄関を入って正面のスペースはみんなの共有の場所になっています。
The standard student dorm community space, is it?
はい。マキちゃんやアマネさんなんかはよくここで過ごしていますよ。
That's so. Although I haven't heard those names before, they must be other students.
それから風見さんの部屋の隣はボイラー室。その正面が階段で、その奥には4つの部屋があって、階段の隣の3号室が私の部屋になります。
I've heard there are 11 rooms in total. Any reason why you picked one on the first floor?
それは私の名前がサチなので、さっちゃんなら3号室でしょと。
I get the idea.
ここが2階です。2階は基本的に部屋のみの構造となっていて、私以外の学生さんは全員この階に住んでいます。
Which would mean 2 of these are vacant.
はい、7号室と9号室は現在空き部屋になっています。3階はこの大浴場をはじめとした戦闘的な構造になっています。階段の反対側にはコインランドリーや物干しスペースもあるので、必要な時に利用してください。もし洗濯自体が苦手なようでしたら、私に言っていただければ代行しますので。
Wouldn't taking care of someone else's chores be a nuisance?
クラス委員ですから。
Alright, I'll keep that offer in mind.
はい。
There's no reason to refuse outright when the offer is delivered with such an earnest smile. By the way, can we use this grand bathroom as we please?
はい。清掃は専門の業者さんが定期的にやってくれているので、清掃中以外は24時間利用可能です。ただ、男湯と女湯に分かれているわけではないので、風見さんが入浴する際は入り口にこの札をかけるようにしてください。
As she speaks, she hands me a card that reads, "In use, male bathing." Sure, I think I might take advantage of it pretty often. The The view up here is pretty nice.
そうですね。周りには校舎の他に高い建物もないですし、ガラスの透過率も 75% ですから、海面に沈む夕日を眺めることもできますよ。
An ocean view, huh? Not bad.
ご希望ならすぐに入ることもできますけど。
As she speaks, I notice Sachi's already holding a towel and change of clothes in her hand. Damn, it's fast. You're pretty well prepared.
この大浴場を見た大体の人はすぐに入ってみたくなるみたいなので。
I see. The fruit of your experience, is it? What's wrong?
風見さんのための着替えではなく、私の着替えを持ってきてしまいました。
Okay. As if to demonstrate, the female underwear slips out from among the clothes in Sachi's hand. Is this a declaration that you want to bathe together?
いえ、そのつもりはありませんでした。すみません。
I really don't think there's anything to apologize for. That's what I was saying.
ありがとうございます。では、これで寮の案内は終わりになりますが、何か質問はありますか？
Let's see. Can I ask about something other than the dorm?
私に答えられることでしたら。
In that case, let's hear your 3 sizes, Sachi. What? Yeah, he's direct.
はい。上から82、56、83です。
And she answers. At that moment, is there a specific man you're going out with?
いません。
Your experience with men to date?
ありません。
I know I'm the one who asked you those questions, but answering them so politely, would that also be because you're the class representative?
クラス委員はみんなの役に立ってこそのクラス委員ですから。
What an admirable devotion to customer service.
ありがとうございます。他に質問はありますか？
Nothing comes to mind.
わか
Why
りま
ask
した。
those questions?
もし他に聞きたいことができたら、部屋にある内線電話で3番を押してください。私の部屋につながるので。それで
Got
は
it.
私はこれで失礼しますね。
With that note of farewell, Sachi bows like a genuine housemaid and starts to turn away. Ah, Sachi.
はい。
Yes? Oh, shit. Thanks for the tour. I appreciate it.
はい。
The class representatives these days seem to be a surprisingly tough-willed breed. After Sachi's tour ended, I took another look around the interior of the building on my own. By the time I return to my room, the sun is already low in the sky and the light growing dim. Should probably put this stuff away before it gets dark. Opening my backpack, I pull out the contents and begin to put them away on the shelves I've been provided with. It's a real help that I've got a closet. Things I can learn in a visible place and things to be stowed away in the back. Dividing my possessions between the two, the latter are clearly more numerous. Normal, huh? While looking over my mountain of luggage, I mutter in a self-deprecating tone. As I work, the sun sinks leisurely into the sea. Oh, okay, 2000. I thought it was like years later. At my usual time, 4:45 a.m., I woke up in my usual way and ran the course I'd marked down mentally on my way here. To tell the truth, when I stopped by the policeman yesterday, it was because I've been wandering back and forth in the same place. I've been planning out a possible marathon route, in other words. I woke at the usual time, ran at the usual time, and now I'm eating my usual breakfast menu. No different from the days when I lived together with my master in the mountains, my standard tempo of living. If there is a difference, it's limited to the slight surprise I felt when I opened my eyes and found a roof over my head. During my hike from Yamanashi, I've gotten used to sleeping in the open. So when I woke up inside a room, there was a slight feeling of unease as I thought, right, I'm living in a dorm room now. That mild discomfort hasn't disappeared even now as I'm eating my corn cereal. It's hard to settle down inside a new layer until it's ingrained with your scent. Even so, I'll start living at this tempo every day from now on, going to school every morning, and so there's no real need to rush things. If I'm actively spending every day packing myself with potentially useful knowledge, someday this sort of lifestyle might come naturally to me. The effort strikes me as a little troublesome, but as my master once told me, when it comes to your life and your woman, a little bit of trouble is just about right. What? Speaking of women, they're a simple bunch, but that doesn't make them any less difficult to handle. I've learned that much in my first years living with my master. In my master's words, when you're a brat, running fast is enough to make you popular. When you're a middle schooler, the guys can fight will be popular. And after that, it's the guys with brains who get the girls. In other words, run, punch, and read books, and you'll never run dry. What do you think? Short and sweet, right? That was her theory, at least. The things she said were always ridiculously simplistic. Honestly, I ignored those words with a snort the first time I heard them, but my master was a woman who put her beliefs into practice. Every morning she made me run, and every day she hit me with a stack of books. Although I don't know if she's to blame, I still run 60 kilometers every morning and habitually read books whenever I have free time. Sometimes she was harsh, sometimes she was sweet. She would emit an abrasive, overpowering aura at times, but every once in a while she could be so gentle that I thought my brain would melt out my ears. That was my master, a woman with a sizable build who was none of the less very picky about the little things. I've had a hard time dealing with large women, ever since those days, but being aware of that fact doesn't mean I can fix it. It's not that I dislike them on a conscious level, but every time I see a tall woman, I can't help but feel wary out of pure instinct. If you ask why I'm bringing this all up all of a sudden, well, that could be because I had just been reminded that there's a large woman at this school as well. Okay. Oh my god, it's that girl from yesterday. Since this place is a student dormitory, it's of course only natural that a community of students who already be living here, it's entirely probable that they have their own rules that I don't know yet. Also, I'm a country hick, fresh from the rural areas of Yamanashi, so it goes without saying that I'm poorly versed in the customs and rituals of this land. I have no way of penetrating the depths of significance that might be hiding in the actions that, at a glance, looks to be a simple case of bullying. What game's this? What are the rules? The puzzled faces staring back at me are familiar. It's the little girl / big woman combo I arbitrarily named the Cicada Sisters when I first arrived at the school yesterday. Who do you think? That's so. I suppose that means I'm irredeemably stupid. Perhaps call me Moron Boy. As if we've been friends for 10 years, Cicada Sisters. I saw the pair of you from the gate yesterday. One of you was swinging a cicada around, and the others were shrieking, if I remember correctly. I'll see what I can do. Yeah, Kazumi Yuji. Nice to meet you. I thrust out my right hand, but the tall woman in front of me doesn't show any sign of grasping it. She stiffened on the spot, stared fixedly at my face. It looks as though she'd never forgotten to breathe. Something wrong? The big woman's frozen expression suddenly melts, and she lightly shakes my hand. It's an unexpectedly small, but decisively cold hand.
あんたも自己紹介は？
Why do I?
別に噛みつきゃしないわよ。名前は？
マキナ。イリス・マキナ。
Iris Machina. Iris is a Greek god, and isn't machina a Latin word? Literally translated, it could be something like mecha rainbow goddess. Machina, that's how you say it in Spanish. You say machina for machine, but I guess it means like machine or mecha or whatever. What country are you from?
耳で聞くと確かにそう聞こえるかもしれないけど、漢字で書くと入り江の入りに巣鴨の巣、種まきの巻にナッパの名でイリス・マキナ。日本人だよ。
Wasn't she speaking English just now?
ああ、この子言語やがちょっとね。それに親の都合で6歳まで海外を飛び回ってたから。
I see. Well, good to meet you. Staring at my outstretched hand in silence, Machina clings to Amane's back as if trying to hide herself. What's wrong?
ああ、ごめん。この子人見知りが激しいっていうか、男の子に慣れてないのよ。病院生活が長かったってのもあって、同世代の男の子が珍しいっていうか、どう接すればいいのかわからないみたいなのよね。
I withdrew my hand I've been holding out towards Machina. There's no need to force her to deal with me in the first place, I guess.
いいのよ。そうやって甘やかすといつまで経ってもこのままなんだから。ほらマキナ、握手は？じゃないわよ。ちゃんと挨拶できない子はおやつあげないわよ。
Is don't get any snacks supposed to be an effective threat in this day and age, or so I thought. But hearing those words, Machina bites her lips tightly and extends her right hand towards me with a strained expression. I gently clasp my small hands and put on the natural-looking fake smile I'll learn from my master. I'm Kazumi Yuji. Good to meet you.
イリス・マキナです。
Her voice is small. Oh. Her voice is small and marked by a distinct lisp. Her hand is as tiny as her body, and it's hot like that of a child.
ねえ、怖くないでしょ？挨拶だけじゃなくて、他に何かお話ししたいことは？
好きな動物は何ですか？
I like dogs. What about it?
へえ、答えてから質問するのね。
I'm not really that indecisive sort. I don't hesitate when I need to come up with an answer, even more so when I have an important decision to make. Compared to failing without even trying, I'd rather take action, even at the risk of a mistake.
おお、かっこいい。
Are you mocking me?
まさか。
Then why do you laugh?
なんでだろうね。
I've heard answering a question with another question is a sign of stupidity. Ooh, shit.
あらそう。じゃあきっと私はバカなのね。これからは10年来の友達のようにバカねと呼んでちょうだい。
I kind of like that comeback. Oh wow. Got it, moron girl. Oh!
今はまだ笑ってるけど、次呼んだら怒るよ。
Oh wow. What a troublesome woman.
あれ、もう行っちゃうの？
I don't feel like being late on my first day.
授業が始まるまでまだ1時間はあるわよ。
I'm used to waiting. I'll kill time sightseeing over there or something.
それが悪いとは言わないけど、変わってるね。
I get that a lot. Well, I'll see you in class.
あ、ユージくん、ちょっと待って。
What?
私からも一つ質問していいかな？
If it's something I can answer.
その、ごめん、やっぱいいや。
Girl, you better say that question. Come on now. I don't like it when people do that. Oh my goodness. It's like, just say it. If you got something to say, spit it out. No need to hold back. My goodness.
また後で聞くわ。もう少し考えをまとめてから。
Well, now it's gonna be in the back of my head the whole time, and I gotta wait. I see. That's just me, though. I don't understand the thought patterns of large women. My master would probably say, if you don't understand by now, you never will. But my own thoughts are more along the lines of, even if I could understand, why bother? Well then. Having said that to Amane, I'm confronted with the fact that there's no sights particularly worth seeing here. There's easily an hour until the start of class. I've obviously woken up too early. Well, still better than being late, I guess. Might as well wait in the classroom. Right after I mumble those words, just as I begin walking down the hallway. Who's that? What the? As I'm making my way toward the classroom the principal had described yesterday, I heard something resembling a scream. That wasn't a scream. I don't know. No, not a scream exactly. Someone trying to sing? The hell? Although it doesn't seem to be an emergency situation, I'm certainly a bit concerned by the sound. It's dramatically out of place in the otherwise quiet morning schoolhouse. For the time being, I decided to approach. I was right about someone trying to sing. When I peer through the hallway window, I find a single woman shouting in the direction of a blackboard. Judging from the fact that she's wearing uniform, it would seem that she's a student here like Sachi, Amane, and Makina. Apparently, oblivious to my presence, she continues her routine. After deeply inhaling, what is she doing? Either singing A-E-I-U-E, what? Okay. All in one breath, she firmly lets loose a string of syllables familiar as a vocal tuning exercise. Okay, so she is singing. Wait, so maybe she's practicing how to speak to a large group of people. I think. I don't know. While staring at the memo pad in her hand, she's awkwardly but forcefully rattles off phrases one after the other. It seems like it'll be best to ask her what she's doing directly. This the Broadcasting Club? That was very abrupt. In response to my question, or more likely my entrance, the woman leaps up in shock and draws back a good 3 meters. Desks and chairs clatter dramatically in her weight. No, I might have been hasty to assume that from the vocal exercises. The drama club seems plausible as well. You seem to be saying some kind of lines. Just as I'm getting ready to rephrase my question, the woman preempts me with her own. Me, Kazumi Yuji. I'll be transferring here as of today. Yeah? Nodding, I walk a few steps forward and stand in front of the woman. So, where are you going? Were you doing some sort of rehearsal after all? Sorry if I interrupted. Which was it? Which is it? I don't quite follow, but if I start asking questions, she'll probably get even noisier. So I choose the path of least resistance. After I flop down on the chair, the woman mutters to herself in a low but perfectly audible voice. In contrast, she delivers her self-introduction with an artificial brightness. That's so. Initials, MM. What? Nobody said anything remotely like that.
あ、ごめんなさい。じゃない。そう聞きそうに見えたのよ。
Do you want to be called a misogynist that badly?
したくないわよ。つかなんで
A misogynist? No, no, that's a masochist. Yeah, my bad. Oh god. Quite an energetic woman. She drops the subject and forges boldly on ahead.
そう。私はこのクラスで委員長的なことをしているわ。だから何か困ったことがあったら、私に相談してもいいのよ。
What does that sort of mean?
それは委員長は他にいるからよ。その辺融通は聞かせなさいよ。
Fair enough.
妙に物分かりがいいわね。まあいいわ。それと
The woman's voice suddenly grows
前も
quieter.
って聞いておくけど、あなたは冗談が通じる方？
I wouldn't call myself an enthusiast.
聞いておいてよかった。
She clears her throat affectedly.
じゃああなたは私のことを特別に名前で呼んでいいことにするわ。本当なら様付けで呼ばなきゃいけないんだけど、許してあげる。やっぱなんかまずいこと言っちゃったかな。テンプレではこれでいいはずなんだけど、やっぱり様付けとか言わない方が良かったのかも。もうその辺の
What the hell?
今のもう一回やりの。
You want me to call you Michiru? Yes?
そうよ。それでいいの。それで
She hums to herself and nods emphatically, apparently satisfied with this result. Next, she takes a colorful wafer of some sort out of a small container and crunches down on it vigorously. What are you eating?
あげないわよ。
Wasn't asking, I was just wondering what those were.
ただのラムネ菓子よ。それがどうかしたの？
That's so. From the way you were showing them off, I was pretty sure you wanted me to ask.
うるさいわね。あんたに見せるためにやったんじゃないわよ。あ、なんか今のうまくいった。多分今のそうよね。結構良かったよね。案外私素質あるのかも。
I got a strange sense of deja vu from her phrasing just now. What was it? One of those long advertisements they put up inside trains? Since I don't ride them often, the few I've seen standing out in my memory. Right, they reprinted this idiotic article from a woman's magazine about how to make men fall for you. Purposely treat them coldly at first, in order to create a contrast for your affection when you make your move.
何いきなり考え込んでるのよ。こういう時はなんだっけ。私の美しさにぼーっとなっちゃう気持ちも。で、それってなんか違うキャラよね。そうじゃなくて、
So you're supposed to be a tsundere? Ooh.
違うわよ。いや、違う。そうなんだけどって。嘘。いきなり言っちゃうわけ、それ。
She took offense to that. Michiru covers her mouth with her left hand and staggers backwards in apparent shock. Her reaction is a bit puzzling, but I think I probably hit the bullseye. I see. I think I understand. You're playing a tsundere in an attempt to attract male attention, yes? Ooh. But there's still some point I'm not clear on. Like that hair. Why are you bleaching it?
これは地毛よ、地毛。
Please. A genuine blonde has a more natural tone, not that artificial looking gold color. I've known a few.
うるさいわね。ヘアマニキュアでいい色合いのがなかったのよ。はっ。
That's so? Next time I happen to visit America, remind me to pick up some better hair dye. Wow. So, as I was saying, why bleach it? And that hairstyle is a little odd too. It's not one I see that often.
そう決まってるんだから仕方ないでしょ。
The way what has to be.
ツンデレには呪いがあるのよ。
Michiru begins to mumble her words under her breath as if to enumerate the curse's power.
私は地の髪の色が濃いからブリーチかけても1日放っておかないとダメだし、市販のだと皮膚が荒れちゃうから豊橋のメーカーが作ってるのをわざわざネットで取り寄せてるし、正直めんどくさいわよ。
That she has to describe the tsundere curse in the first person seems a bit strange, but pointing that out would only prolong this, so I leave it be.
でも金髪でツインテールで、そうじゃないと本当のツンデレとは認めてもらえない。だけど私、いや私を出すにはこれしかないの。
There's a lot of anime characters.
それは否定しちゃいけないのよ。
There's a lot of anime characters that have like her hairstyle too. Michiru jabs out an index finger in my direction and
ツンデレは金髪ツインテールなの。勝った？いや、わかれ！
as she runs out of breath in grand style, the curtain finally drops on Michiru's one-woman show. The echoing of her ragged breathing is the only sound in the otherwise silent classroom. Exactly 30 seconds pass.
なんで無言なのよ。
Is it tough being a tsundere? Got it. I'm not sure. Oh wow. I'm not sure if that wasn't what she was looking for or if she's just lost the will to go on. But Michiru's glare at me while emitting a sound reminiscent of a malfunctioning industrial machine. Anyway, let's get along, Michiru.
よろしくないわよ。あんた一人でよろしくすればいいじゃない。
Yes, goes without saying, I plan to get along just fine on my own.
そこはセオリー通りにちゃんと戸惑ってよ、バカ。
It really isn't easy being a tsundere, is it?
もういい、帰れ。
Finally breaking down, Michiru begins flinging waste paper, permanent markers, and anything else laying around in my direction in an attempt to drive me off. Are you crying? Sorry, my bad.
泣いてない、バカ。
My attempts at an apology seems to only have fueled her anger, so in the end, I decide to temporarily withdraw in the fact called for. Class is starting in another 15 minutes, but it should be fine. I'll just kill some time somewhere.
おはよう。おはよう
Right
ご
when
ざ
he
い
was
ま
about
す。
to go, they walked in. 5 minutes before the start of class. 5 minutes before the start of class, practically the moment after I re-entered the classroom, Amane and Sachi arrive. The tsundere from earlier is looking at me with naked aggression, but noticing the arrival of the others.
おはよう、あまね、サチ。
Resuming the performance in question, she promptly calls out to them.
おはようございます、みちる様。
Why is she yelling? The instant her greeting is returned, Michiru runs over noisily and shakes her hand in front of Sachi.
どうかしたんですか？
Oh.
サチ、あんたそれやめてって言ったでしょ。みちる様っての。
Oh, okay, okay. Oh, this is the girl that, she's the housemaid. Okay.
でもこれはみちる様が絶対にそう呼べって言ったから。だからあれはその冗談で、一度物理フォーマットしてもう一回入れ直せない？ね。
Why is she talking to her like she's a robot? Re-enter the data? What? Michiru, while glancing over in my direction for some reason, desperately entreats Sachi. Amane, leaning on the desk, seems to be occupied with trying to hold in her laughter.
そんな絶対って言ったから、だから私。
Aww.
泣かないで。とりあえず今だけこれ命令。はい、泣きません。
The instant Michiru speaks, Sachi's tears abruptly vanish as if someone threw a switch. Michiru's watches her cautiously, sweating heavily.
わかったわよ。特に何も規制とかしないから好きに呼べばいいじゃない。はい、みちる様。
Damn, she already messed up already. Michiru staggers her way back to her seat. with all the vitality of a limp rag. You feeling alright, Michiru-sama? Oh my god. Damn. Sorry, just wanted to give it a try. Michiru collapsed weakly onto her desk. Makina's lisping voice sounds from the rear of the classroom. Seems like she might not be used to my presence yet, judging from the way she belliness straight for Amane, hides herself behind her and steals glimpses of me at me.
あんたの人見知りというか男見知りは本当に筋金入りね。マキナ、大丈夫よ。ちょっとムカつくとこもあるけど、こいつはそんな危ない人間じゃなさそう。
Appreciate it, Michiru.
別にあんたのためにしたわけじゃないわよ。決まった！今のは綺麗に決まった！
Keep up the good work. Apart from the large woman, this bunch seems to present quite a variety of communication difficulties. Nothing but fantastically normal students here. Principal. As if in response to my sarcasm with the chiming of the opening bell, I had a feeling she was going to be the teacher. The perfectly normal principal appears before my eyes. Wait a second. There's only 4. And we've arrived at the beginning of the school day. I noticed a difference from the information I've heard yesterday. Standing at the podium, the principal noticed the irregularity at a glance. Sakaki, okay. Her tone seems to be asking if anyone's familiar with the circumstances.
ここんとこずっとそうだし。確かに最近は夕方からしか来なくなっちゃったわね。
ユミちゃんどうしたのかな。
何かあったんでしょうか。
Apparently, I'm not the only one with questions about our lone truant.
まあいいわ。風見くんの紹介もしたかったけど、そのうちに会えるでしょ。
You're strangely tolerant.
ちょっといろいろとあってね。 じゃあ出席を取ります。
From an open window, the scent of the tide flows into the room. Perhaps because of the walls and steel fences surrounding us on all sides, it's not always easy to remember that this place is in fact close to the sea. Wow, I struggled there. In contrast to the breeze and the blue skies intimidations of freedom, the gray of those jutting fences speaks of denial and rejection. While my classmates raise their voice energetically, I pass the time staring into the sky. School life, huh?
ここが視聴覚教室です。すべての席にリスニングとヒアリングの機材が揃えられていて、語学学習にも適しています。
Looks that way. I can tell from a glance that this place is well equipped. Using the time after the homeroom period, I'm getting a small introduction to the school's facility from Sachi. Normally this would be the principal's job, but she seems to be occupied with official duties, so I ended up getting another tour from our class rep.
ライブラリはすべて外部にあるサーバーと高速回線でつながっていて、いつでも短時間で検索し鑑賞することができます。だからここには DVD とかブルーレイとかは一本もないんです。
Which would make checking a movie out impossible, I guess.
そうですね。あまねさんはそれで前に残念がってました。
Sachi smiles a bit wearily as she speaks. Most of this stuff is probably in the pamphlet somewhere, but Sachi's explanations are comparatively to the point, clear and easy to understand. It seems she's actually quite intelligent.
過去に放送されたテレビ番組も全部ではありませんが鑑賞することができます。ないものについては請求して承認されればサーバーに入れてもらえますので。
Looks like they weren't that sloppy on the casting after all.
何のドラマの話ですか?
The school drama currently being broadcasted.
以上になります。
Having completed a general review of the school's facilities, Sachi's explanation comes to an end. Thanks, it was a big help.
いえ、これもクラス委員の仕事ですから。
I guess so.
それより風見さんは まだここに残るんですか？
Yeah, there's still a classmate I haven't met yet after all.
そうですね。
Hearing my response, Sachi's brisk tone gives way to a hesitant mumble.
い
What?
え、なんでもないです。すみません。
After a brisk bow, she quickly runs off down the hallway. Did I trigger a death flag just now? I don't think there's a single person in the world who wouldn't worry about that kind of ominous foreshadowing. Well, that might be an overstatement. There are some pretty carefree people out there. I'm just not one of them. Seems like it would be best to be on my guard, or more so than usual. The light flooding in through the windows have shifted from overhead to my side. It won't be that long until the sun sets. After parting from Sachi, I walk the empty hallway alone. My surroundings are nearly soundless thanks to my habitual quiet footsteps. However, inside the stillness, I sense a definite presence at my destination. She finally showed up? I hear a faint sound from the interior of the previously silent classroom. With that confirmation, I slowly open the door. Oh. The moment I enter the classroom, tension fills the air. Behind a window seat desk in the middle of the classroom, a chair rattles as its occupant turns to face me. My immediate impression of the girl: she doesn't appear particularly friendly. Yo. While it might not be the most polite first greeting, I call out casually as I approach in order to demonstrate my lack of malicious intent. Sakaki Yumiko, right? Her expression doesn't change. Sitting on the chair, absolutely shocked still, she stares fixedly at me. I'm Kazumi Yuji. I'm a new student here as of today. I come to a halt in front of her desk. So, I'll be your classmate as well, it seems. Pulling out a chair from the desk in front of her, I sit down. At the moment, we're about a meter apart. Nonetheless, the woman stares at me so intensely that she seems to be forgetting to breathe. Rather than staring, her expression could probably be more accurately described as glaring. I wasn't able to introduce myself in the morning. Heard you'll probably be around in the evening. I kept talking regardless, but no response is forthcoming. Maybe she's got a psychological problem with men, La Machina. But then again, she didn't try to run when I approached her. I changed my position on the seat to face her directly. Straddling the chair, I lean forward slightly. The motion has closed the 1 meter gap between us down to about 70 meters. I'd like to at least confirm your identity. Oh, wow. Hey. As if to declare her refusal to acknowledge my existence, the woman stands from her seat and briskly moves to exit the classroom. How about at least responding to me? I follow her immediately. The woman opens the classroom's rear door just enough for one person to pass and tries to slip her way outside. Hey. Calling out again, I try to follow her through the gap. Ugh. In that moment, the woman forcefully slams the door shut. She clearly closes it, knowing full well I'm trying to follow. Her expression betrays surprise. Maybe she's been expecting me to get my hand caught in the door or back off from having it slammed in my face. Instead, the door she attempted to slide closed is firmly held open by my hand, an outcome she apparently hadn't been prepared for. You could have broken my hand, you know that? Although she's the one who's trying to shatter my fingers, she's going at me like I'm the bad guy here. What exactly did I do to deserve this from someone I just met? I'm just looking for an introduction. Opening the half-shut door, I take a step forward. She doesn't back down. Oh. Dang! Quite the greeting. Oh, God. I stop the motion of her hand about 5 centimeters before its target. It isn't the most effective block, but for the purpose of diffusing her reckless hospitality, an easily comprehensible action seems necessary. I was expecting something of the sort, but you favor the classic slap to the face, I see. Maintaining my grasp on the woman's wrist, I stare her down at short range. As for the woman, she's staring right back, her eyes open wide with shock, completely still. Well then, let me ask you again. Oh, I like this music. The strong orange glow of the evening sun illuminates the classroom. Are you Sakaki Yumiko? Her expression hostile as ever, The woman slowly opens her mouth. With an air of slight resignation, clearly unwavering in her refusal of any retaliation with me, she speaks. Okay, good to meet you. As the evening sun fell behind a cloud, its light dimmed and the classroom filled with shadow. With the sound of Yumiko's breath and faint roar of the waves from behind the walls, the curtains was raised on my normal student life. Oh. Okay, that was very interesting. It was like what, 3 hours? I think. I don't know. I wasn't really checking, but anyway, I think that's gonna be the start, or not the start, the where I stop at for reading. So I'm gonna save it, and then I'll definitely get back to this the next day or when I can. But yeah, so that was the first part of Fruits of Grisaia, or however it's pronounced. I'm gonna look up the pronunciation later, but yeah, that was a good reading. I felt like I got through a lot through the visual novel, but I know it's probably long as hell. But anyway, it was still enjoyable. But until next time.